We've been waiting for this one, the all-new Honda Pilot.
Trail Sport in blue. Let's go.
Wow, it does get a little louder when you accelerate quickly.
I like it though. I think they can in some sound actually. When you put it in sport
Could
mode,
be.
they might can in some sound.
Yeah.
But you know what? I like the fact it's still got a good old V6. So I guess we're getting ahead of ourselves. What's under the hood of this all-new Pilot?
A 3.5-liter V6 with a 10-speed automatic transmission, 285 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. Standard all-wheel drive in Canada, but you've got front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive options in the U.S.
Volkswagen Atlas is going to a Turbo 4. You
Yeah.
also have the Highlander going to a Turbo 4. Honda sticks with the V6 for now, but that's pretty good. All right now, what do you get with this? What are the key standard features?
The base trim comes with a 7-inch driver display, 7-inch touchscreen, wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a 7-speaker audio system, a 10-way power driver's seat, 4-way power passenger seat, heated front seats, a heated steering wheel, power tailgate, and remote engine starter. In the US, since there are more trims, the base model does not come with all these standard features. We'll get into those trims later on in the video.
Push button transmission, not our favorite, but you do have different modes here. What are we going to put it in?
You got to put it in S for subscribe, and if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the couple car review twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure you like and subscribe, but also follow along on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to see what's going on behind the scenes. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button. So Honda brought out the Passport Trail Sport about a year and a half ago. Now they've introduced an all-new Pilot and Trail Sported it as well. I like the color, I'll tell you that. What do you think over there of the way it drives?
This has a more rugged exterior design than the other Pilot models. You also get the Trail Sport logo and some orange trim throughout the exterior and interior. This comes with an off-road tuned suspension, steel skid plates. It has a higher ground clearance of 8.3 inches compared to the regular model of 7.3 inches. And you can really feel that it eats up those bumps in the road. I think if you took this off-road, you would find it to be quite comfortable.
All right, so what they're really doing here is they're adding 25 millimeters of ground clearance, that's 1 inch.
Yeah.
And then with that, the wheels are allowed to articulate a little bit more. So counterintuitive, the suspension is actually softer.
Yeah.
And then you go to an 18-inch wheel with a larger sidewall. That's where you get a really compliant ride. So someone that likes a soft ride, you would look at this and think it's not going to be soft.
Yeah.
It actually is, because the suspension has more travel and so do the tires.
Now, Honda says that this is the most powerful and largest Honda SUV that they've ever made. And they have done extensive updates to the powertrain, the chassis, as well as the body structure. It's the stiffest of all Pilots ever.
That's good news for people who like the Honda Ridgeline pickup truck, right? Because it's based on the same platform as this. This has been updated. Stay tuned. That one will be coming soon as well.
So this is an all-new chassis, and what Honda wanted to do was to give this a bit of a sportier ride. We don't have the top touring trim. We've got this Trail Sport with the off-road tuned suspension. So I don't think I'm necessarily feeling like this is a sporty ride, but I think it is one of the best Pilots that they have ever built.
You know why they gave us this one, Andrea? The color. This is the one they've used for all of their marketing, so this is the one they gave us. It'll be good to get maybe that one back and try that suspension. This one really, in my opinion, is quite soft, and surprisingly so. And the steering goes along with that. The steering is very kind of vague and soft, but the steering is one thing they could work on.
Well, I find the steering to be very light. Now, that may appeal to a lot of people because you are driving a large vehicle. Maneuverability is excellent, as is the turning radius. So I think that the lighter steering is something that many would probably like.
Well, the main thing you're going to notice with the design of this, it really has an assertive look, and you've got, instead of Honda in script across the back, they actually have the name, which is Pilot. I think it looks pretty good. The best angle for me is the back end, and I like a nice back end.
I really like the front end. I like that long hood. I think it has a really nice bold and wide stance. The feedback I've been getting is kind of mixed. Some people feel that Honda has gotten a little bit boring with their new design. I like the direction that they've gone. I feel that things are more simplistic. The new all-wheel drive system is more capable, featuring a stronger rear differential that can handle 40% more torque and provides 30% faster response, optimizing traction in different driving conditions. All-wheel drive models add trail and sand modes. But this comes standard with LED headlamps, LED tail lamps, you get LED fog lamps, roof rails, 18 or 20-inch wheels, and a temporary spare tire.
So this is really quite a conventional interior in comparison to what the others are doing with their double screens and touch sensitive. It's got real switches, it's got a traditional layout, and this will appeal, I think, to a lot of people.
Not only do you have a giant center console storage, but you have got cup holders in the door pockets, and they are big.
Yeah, you have 2 rows in the door cards for storage, and you typically don't get that. It's very well designed.
When we review 3-row SUVs, the biggest complaint is, why can't I get a bench seat on the top trim?
Andrea, why can't I get a bench seat on the top trim?
I don't know, Zach.
Can you get it in the Honda Pilot?
You can get it in the Honda Pilot.
Take my money.
Right? This is an 8-passenger SUV on all trims except for the Trail Sport model. It is a 7-passenger SUV. The top trim in Canada has a removable center console in the rear seat that you can store. You don't even have to put it in your garage. You could put it in the cargo area underneath the floor. In the US, the top 2 trims have a removable center console in the rear.
But we haven't really talked about it. You did it in key standard features, Andrea.
Yeah.
You know, 7 inches is just not big enough these days.
Not big enough for me.
You got to go bigger. This comes standard with a 7-inch screen in 2023 is pathetic. This one has the larger 9-inch, but it still looks kind of teeny compared to the other brands.
Now, in the US, you have that stripped down base model, which starts at under $36,000 US.
That's good.
I mean, that's good money for an 8-passenger SUV. However, 7-inch in Canada as a base model at the prices that we're paying is just not good enough. That 7-inch touchscreen also comes with wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
You gotta plug it in?
9-inch comes with wireless. I think that this is a big miss from Honda. Now, some of you will say, Andrea, what's the big deal about the screen size? Well, if you like a small screen, great, but we're but we're comparing it to other competitors in this class, and they are doing a better job.
I just want to point one thing out. Have a look at the screen and then the surrounding case that goes on it. You see all that extra plastic that goes around there? That is basically an insert that they could pull out, and I guarantee you they could put a larger screen. You see how wide it is?
Yeah.
That looks like the same width screen that you could put in, say, maybe the new Accord.
Why does the Accord get a 12.3-inch touchscreen as standard?
Andrea,
Hello?
why does the Accord get the 12.3 inch as standard and this doesn't? I'll tell you why. Because people are buying SUVs and they're not buying sedans, but you can see it. You can see it. It will fit.
Honda, we need a 12.3-inch touchscreen in here. In Canada, we highly recommend you going up one from the base model to the EXL trim. That's going to open you up to more features like this larger touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a wireless charger, driver's seat memory, leatherette upholstery, heated second row seats, and the 9-speaker audio system and cabin talk. The Trail Sport gets leatherette seats, heated second row captain's chairs, the 9-speaker audio system, and that's where you get the panoramic sunroof. The top touring trim has the 10.2-inch digital driver display, navigation, a head-up display, the multi-view camera, perforated leather upholstery, ventilated front seats, the Bose sound system, and a hands-free power tailgate with walk-away close.
In the US, the trims are similar to Canada, but you do get the extra Elite trim. There are a few differences, like on the EXL and the Touring models, you get leather trimmed upholstery, and the Elite has perforated leather seats. The Trail Sport is just like the Canadian model. The Trail Sport and the Elite models add a heated steering wheel. And the top Elite trim gets extra features Canadians get on our touring trim. All right, here's me getting in the back seat. It's what you would expect from a large 3-row utility. You have on this model, as Andrea mentioned, captain's chairs in the second row, and there's a plastic console where that third removable seat would typically go. Of course, the seats slide fore and aft. How does it compare?
Comparing the Honda Pilot to other competitors like the Hyundai Palisade, Kia Telluride, and Toyota Highlander, it offers 41 inches of front row legroom. The Telluride and Palisade have the most at 44 inches. Second row legroom at 40.8 inches, although spacious, falls short to these competitors, with the Korean twins having the most.
And borrowed from Acura's MDX is a one-button release that slides the seats forward to climb into the back. It's actually really quite comfortable in the third row.
One disappointment about the third row is that middle seat is tiny. Not sure who is fitting in there, but you could give it a shot. The Pilot has the most third row legroom at 32.5 inches.
And then you lift the cargo area. And like most in this class, with the third row up, the space isn't huge, but it's got a deep well underneath the floor.
Space behind the third row with up to 21.8 cubic feet with the hidden storage available on some trims is excellent, offering the most space amongst these competitors. Overall cargo space is tied with the Telluride at 87 cubic feet, but if you add that underfloor storage in the cargo area, it offers more.
You guys are getting clever. You're asking questions with multiple questions in the question. So let's get into it.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
How is the interior fit and finish materials in comparison to the Acura MDX? Wind and road noise well controlled. How is the stereo?
That's a lot of questions.
I know.
You just did all the questions. I would say that the fit and finish in here is good. The materials are kind of a bit industrial looking in comparison to the MDX. But you know what? I would say it's well put together, and it's very, very, very well designed.
And comfortable. These seats are comfortable. You're going to find the driving position to be comfortable. I mean, I'm impressed with all of that. The MDX is different. MDX drives like a large sedan. It feels more planted, sportier drive. MDX is a great option, and it is also big, just like this Pilot.
All right, so road noise and all that. This is a V6 powered midsize 3-row SUV. So if you've ever driven one, you kind of understand the sound. They're moving towards more hybrids, more turbo 4-cylinders. This still has a trusty V6, so you're getting that feeling. I do notice, though, that it runs through the 10 gears a lot.
How is the seat comfort, ride, and room compared to the Kia Telluride? Would you rather have a Pilot for your family or a Mazda CX-90?
Okay, so we're going Telluride. You guys are killing us today. We've been on the road for 5 weeks and we're recording this, and we're like, that's why we need our coffee. The seats are definitely softer than Telluride.
Oh, much softer. In fact, we're a little bit surprised at the Telluride seats, and we told Kia that we find the seats to be really firm. And did you change them from one model year to the other, considering it was just a update? Yeah. As for the CX-90, well, come on, that's a pretty special vehicle. Mazda knows how to do an interior. The fit and finish is beautiful. The top trim of the CX-90 is a 6-passenger SUV. If you want a people hauler, this is going to be your girl.
No, if you want a people hauler, you get a Volkswagen Atlas. That's
a biggie.
That's a big-ass SUV.
But I don't think that one has 8-passenger seating on the top trim. We put out a lot of content on the Motormouth YouTube channel, and it's super easy to find.
All you do is go to the YouTube search bar and type in Motormouth. That's the name of the channel, then the brand you're looking for. In this case, it's Honda. And all our videos pop up. It's that easy.
Does the Canadian Trail Sport have the Trail Watch camera? I asked a local dealer and they didn't know. Seems it's a weird omission from the US version if that's the case. Yes, it does not come with it on the Canadian model. Only the US model gets Trail Watch.
What's up with that, eh? Give us our camera.
I know, not good.
You know
Honda
what?
Canada, get that Trail Watch in here.
If you think about it, have you been living your whole life without a Trail Watch camera and driving up gravel roads? So you could probably do it without it.
I'm sure you're going to be just fine. But the fact that the U.S. has it, we should have it too. I agree with you.
Yeah, but there's lots of things we get that they don't get.
True. Heated steering wheel is always an issue in the U.S. For some reason, manufacturers think in the U.S., you guys don't really need a heated steering wheel.
You ask people in Minnesota, they kind of talk like that too, eh?
These poor people, Zach.
Yeah, well, they know it. They're from Minnesota. And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
Knowing that the Telluride and Palisade exist, I just don't know about this model. The infotainment is small, and Honda's pricing has been whack lately. I think it's the small things like these that really matter. Can this realistically compete with its competitors?
So, over the last year or so, we have been very hard on Honda with the HR-V and the CR-V when it comes to pricing and lack of features, like in the HR-V, not having a rear armrest is just so silly. And this is the best effort from Honda that we have seen since the Civic was introduced. It really is well done. And I think on price, it's very close. And this is just a different take on moving people around. The Korean twins do it really, really well. They do it differently, but people will like this.
And this is a Honda. People have a lot of loyalty towards Honda. Are you willing to pay a little extra for a Honda? Well, that's up to you to decide. But the pricing is very comparable to the others, and there are things that Honda does well that the others don't do as well. And that's the fact that they have 8-passenger seating on the top trim in Canada, 2 top trims in the US, and they offer wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which the Korean twins do not have. There are a few things that this model is missing. There's no height adjustment on the passenger side. That might be a problem for people who are quite tall. And there's no digital rear view mirror, which I think some who are driving in a very large vehicle with people in the back might enjoy that. I never use it. I'm not bothered by it, but I'll point it out.
So can this thing tow? The fuel economy? Let's get into it in our vital stats.
Let's start with pricing. We'll do Canada first, and then we'll move on to the US. The base sport model starts at just over $52,500, and the top touring trim is just under $63,500. In the US, you have a load of trims, front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive options. We're going to put the pricing on the screen, and you can pause to go through it all, but the base trim starts at just under $36,000, and the top elite all-wheel drive model is just over $52,000.
Here's the fuel economy: 12.4 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 9.3 on the highway. That's 19 miles per gallon city, 25 miles per gallon highway. This can tow 5,000 pounds, and the warranty is 3 years with 60,000 kilometers or 36,000 miles. Well, we already touched on the Korean twins. You bet they're in our comparison. Let's get into it. What else can you buy?
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is the Hyundai Palisade with the same 3.8-liter V6 as the Telluride, 291 horsepower and a starting price just over $50,500.
The Kia Telluride with the same 3.8-liter V6 as the Palisade, 291 horsepower and a starting price of $50,000 Canadian.
The updated 2024 Volkswagen Atlas with a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine and 269 horsepower. Pricing has not been announced yet for this model.
The Toyota Highlander with a new 2.4-liter turbo 4-cylinder with 264 horsepower and a starting price of $45,500.
So there are 4 3-row SUVs for you to consider.
Lightning round. 2 things we like, 2 things we like to see improved.
Honda, you did a great job with the design of the interior. Plenty of storage for families.
I think the styling upgrades are welcome.
Height adjustment on the passenger side, please.
I'll say it for Andrea. Bigger screen.
For a people hauler, this one checks most of the boxes.
The best effort from Honda in a while.